Goeiedag. In vandag se les kyk ons na deelwoorde. Deelwoorde in Engels is participles. En ons kry twee verskillende soorte, teenwoordige deelwoorde en verlede deelwoorde. Wat presies is 'n deelwoord? What is a participle? Let's look at the definition. Wanneer ons 'n werkwoord verander in 'n beskrywende woord, met ander woorde 'n byvoeglike naamwoord of 'n bywoord, dan vorm ons 'n deelwoord. So the minute that we start describing things, it becomes a deelwoord. Firstly, we get teenwoordige deelwoorde. Met ander woorde, die aksie is nog besig om plaas te vind. The action is still happening. So when this happens, we are going to add to the end of the word ende or end, depending on where in the sentence the word stands. Let's look at an example. Die water kook, the water boils, werkwoord. En nou sê ons die kokende water, the boiling water. Can you see that it has become a descriptive word? Kokende, because it is still happening. Afrikaans word beskryf, dit is ons werkwoord, en Afrikaans is 'n beskrywende taal. It's an ongoing thing. Die water loop uit die kraan. Once again, our verb changes into a descriptive word, die lopende water, still happening. In English, this would be the running water. So because we don't have the ing in Afrikaans, that is when we add the ende, which shows us that the action is still happening. Of course, we have our exceptions to the rule, uitsonderings. Hierdie woorde eindig net met de. So enige woord afgelei van doen, gaan, sien, staan, slaan en hulle afleidings. Remember, afleidings is when we add a prefix or a suffix to the word. So when we take doen and we change it into sodoende, then it is going to end on a de. Staan, and we add the be, it becomes bestaande, which means existing. Slaan, we add ont, die ontslaande, the discharged patient, for example. So these are exceptions that you please have to learn and doen, gaan, sien, staan en slaan. Nog uitsonderings vir die teenwoordige deelwoorde is where some of the words change completely, and these you have to learn. Versag, for example, becomes versagtende. Lief hê, we are going to change to liefhebbende. Sê becomes veelzeggende. En vertroos becomes vertroostende. So these ones you just have to learn and remember as they are. Important. All of these examples that we have just used, al hierdie voorbeelde staan in die attributiewe posisie. If you refer back to the lesson on byvoeglike naamwoorde, attributief stands before the noun. So when these words stand after the noun, they are not going to end on an e, but simply end. Let's look at them. Onthou julle, ons het gesê die kokende water. So kokende stands before the selfstandige naamwoord. In our example here, the selfstandige naamwoord is there. Kookkind is after the selfstandige naamwoord, predicatief, so it does not get an E. Die taal is beskrywend, weer eens selfstandige naamwoord en die beskrywende woord kom daarna. So onthou asseblief die verskil tussen attributief en predikatief. Voor die selfstandige naamwoord sit ons die E by. So let's look at the second example. Swak verlede deelwoorde kry ons swak en sterk. These are when the action has already happened. So this is the action is in the past. So what we do with the word, we add ge in the beginning of the word, and then it is going to end with either D-E-T-E or just an E. Ons kry swak verlede deelwoorde en ons kry sterk verlede deelwoorde. Kom ons kyk na die verskil. Swak verlede deelwoorde stay in their original form. So words that end on a K and on a P, we are going to add ge in the beginning of the word and TE at the end of the word. So the general rule for K and P, ge and TE. For example, kap, to chop, word die gekapte hout. The wood has already been chopped, it's lying there ready for the braai, and that is why it becomes gekapte. It has happened already. Soek, if you are looking for something, die gesoekte misdadiger. The criminal that they are looking for, he is being looked for. Kook becomes gekookte. Now remember when we said die kokende water, the boiling water, it's still boiling. But once we have cooked the food, for example, it has already happened, so then it becomes a past participle, 'n swak verlede deelwoord, gekookte kos. En as iets breek, hy het op die grond geval, and now it is broken, die gebreekte glas. So these rules apply for words that end on K and P. Then we are going to look at words that end on F, G, and S. Now these ones also get a ge in the beginning, like all verlede deelwoorde, but these ones you can write with a TE or a DE, they are both correct. For example, afstof, to dust off, die afgestofte or afgestofde, they both correct. Droog, dry, die gedroogde vrugte, remember your ge, or die gedroogde, both correct. Was, die gewaste, or gewasde. So just to summarize, F, G, and S, sorry about that, gets a ge plus TE or DE. K and P gets ge plus TE. And all the rest gets ge plus DE. Right. Now let's look at sterk verlede deelwoorde. So to remember the difference between swak verlede deelwoorde and sterk verlede deelwoorde. Swak verlede deelwoorde bly dieselfde. Sterk verlede deelwoorde, it's strong, it changes the word. That's the first thing. The second thing, they are mostly used in a figurative setting. So let's look at these examples. 'n vokaalverandering vind plaas. In other words, the vowel changes. So when we talk about sluit in a figurative meaning, it's going to become geslote. And an example of this would be a facial expression. Because your face cannot be locked, literally, so we say, hy het 'n geslote gesigsuitdrukking. Breek, you might remember this one from the lesson about denotasie en konnotasie, figuurlike taalgebruik. So die gebroke hart, because your heart cannot literally break, die gebroke hart versus die gebreekte glas. And then we have soek, and when we use it figuratively, gesogte. So these words you can just learn. That's how the vowel changes. Let's look at some examples for you to practice. You can pause the slides here and just take a moment, answer the questions, and then push play again, and we'll go through the answers together. Reg, die breekglas lê op die vloer. Glas tells us that it's literal, so it has already happened. It's going to be verlede tyd. It is going to be die gebreekte glas lê op die vloer. Ons skep die kookkos in ons borde. So the fact that we are dishing, ons skep die kos, means that the food is cooked already. So it's going to be in the past tense, and then it is going to be die gekookte kos. Die loopwater mors in die kombuis. It's still happening because it's still making a mess. Teenwoordige tyd, lopende water. Hy sê niks, hy is 'n sluitboek. He says nothing, he is a closed book. So can he literally be a closed book? No. That gives it away, sterk verlede deelwoord, geslote boek. Die lagkinders is baie gelukkig. So it's still happening, they are, met ander woorde, and remember our spelling rules, doubling the consonant, and you add your ENDE, die lachende kinders. Die huilkind se knie is stukkend. It's still happening, so it's the same thing, die huilende kind. Nadat die meisie hom gelos het, past tense, het hy 'n breekhart gehad. And because it's not literal, it's going to be gebroke hart. Difference between letterlik and figuurlik. So that is then verlede deelwoorde en teenwoordige deelwoorde. The way that they will ask this in your exam is by giving you a word and asking you to put it in the correct format. Reg, ek sien julle volgende keer.